Okay, at the end of the textbook, there's a very interesting discussion about per capita income. Now, before we start talking about what the discussion actually says, I want to be sure that you have a clear understanding of what this term means. The per capita income is very simply defined as the national income divided by the population of the country. Oftentimes, you will see the national income referred to as GDP. Now, this value of GDP is always in some kind of currency unit, whether it be dollars, yen, rupees. All of that is always in the numerator. The denominator is always the number of people living in that country. And this gives us a rough estimation of how much, on average, people in that country are earning. Now, please be careful. This is a very rough estimation. This is not an exact representation of the average income of the country or the median income. The textbook clearly mentions that prior to colonial rule in India, the Indian economy was vibrant. There was a very, very significant agricultural sector, as is today. However, the agricultural sector was different in that the people who worked on the land enjoyed ownership rights and were able to be paid a reasonable sum of money for their efforts. In addition, there were some goods that were famous the world over, which allowed the Indian government or Indian producers to take advantage of plus alpha pricing, which is that the producers were able to charge more for their goods and received a premium for their products around the world. However, once the British entered India, all of this stopped. The landowners and the land workers became separated into the tillers and the zamindars, as we discussed earlier. The people who were working on the land were in very, very, very meager circumstances, whereas the export of premium Indian products almost completely subsided, and the impact on GDP per capita should easily be noticed. However, the problem is statistics weren't taken at that time. For us to say that the British government had a negative impact on the Indian economy, we should be able to demonstrate that the per capita income had in fact decreased during colonial rule. However, because statistics didn't exist, it's difficult for us to do so. There were some efforts made to demonstrate how GDP and per capita income changed during colonial rule, and after much laborious research, that although GDP grew by 2%, per capita income grew by a dismal 0.5%.